Hello, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a bit different as I'm going to be speaking about what I think of Spurs or West Ham getting relegated this season. So this season has been a bit different because Spurs are right now in the relegation zone, which is crazy as they are meant to be one of the big six teams in the Premier League. So when things like Spurs potentially going down happen, that's not common, obviously. Now, I think they will go down this season, but I think that's good, personally. It's bad for the Premier League and the Big Six kind of thing, I guess. However, I think it will be good for the Championship and all the clubs in it, because it will give them a chance to play in a big stadium with great atmosphere, and it will be against a big club that they probably wouldn't get the chance to play against usually. But also at the same time it limits the money in the Premier League, because they are one of the big six. That means loads of people watch them every week when it's on TV. However, if they're in the Championship, not as many people will be watching because they want to watch the top flight in the English divisions. So they will not watch Spurs anymore, which will lead to a lot less money for the TV channels that stream the games, and also the football teams in general, as it might be like a big clash like the North London derby. We won't get that in the Premier League anymore if Spurs go down. So that will limit Arsenal's money because so many people watch that game every season, which will mean there'll be a lot less money coming from the games and people watching the games to the club, which will limit Arsenal's money. But not only that, also other clubs, even if the game isn't as big, even if they're a top six club, a lot of people will watch them play Spurs. However, that won't happen if Spurs go down. Now, I also think it'll be cool to see Spurs in the Championship, not because Spurs belong there or anything. I think they should be a good enough club to stay in the Prem. They are a good enough club. We've seen them do way better before. They were in the Champions League this season after winning the Europa League last season, but somehow they just aren't playing well enough to actually get the points and make it through this season. Now, I think they should make it through this season. I don't know if they will. I'm pretty sure they won't. However, they should really make it through this season. Now, at this moment, at the time of this recording, we are in match week 35. We've just had the Saturday done. The table, Spurs are 18th with 34 points, and West Ham are 17th with 36. So just one win and a West Ham loss could get them out of the relegation and West Ham in. However, if West Ham win and Spurs lose, then I think that's it for them. I think they won't make it through to the stay up in the Prem. Now, this is bad for the club, as they will lose their money and all their fans will stop coming to the games. Season ticket prices will go down, to be fair, and the ticket prices will go down for matches, as they will be in the Championship. However, means less money for the club, and also less wages, less. Well, wait. And it also means there'll be less money for the players' wages, and the wages will have to be lowered, and they will probably have to sell many of their players because they are such big players, which makes it even worse the fact that they're going down with all their players. They have the players to do it, yet they just aren't performing right now, which is really surprising considering they have players like Maddison, Solanke, Van der Ven. All those players can perform. We've seen them do it before. We saw them beat Man City 4-0 last season, yet for some reason they can't seem to get a result against teams like, well, let me have a look. They can't get a result against teams like Sunderland, who were in the Championship last season, only made it out through the playoffs. Now, to be fair, Sunderland have been a great team this season. They are 12th right now in the table. However, that doesn't make an excuse for Tottenham. Tottenham should be up there competing for Europe, yet they're in a relegation battle. Now, I personally would like to see them go down because it feels like the fact that they are in the relegation battle when they're meant to be a big club, it feels like they deserve to go down if they haven't performed. If they've been performing like this season, they deserve to go down. Now, that's my personal opinion. I'm sure many Spurs fans won't agree. However, that is what I think, and I would like to see Spurs go down. West Ham is kind of a different story. They have been in relegation battles before. Last season, Spurs were in battle last season. However, it wasn't really a battle because all the teams that went up this season 2 seasons ago went down last season. So it didn't really, but it was like by a lot. However, I don't think that will happen this season, clearly, because Wolves have already gone down. That was a big upset, as they've been in the Premier League for quite some time now. And also, Burnley have gone down. And whilst they did come up this season, I think they do deserve to go down. They just don't have the players or the money to compete in the Premier League. They can do it in the Championship. Like, we've seen them do it many times. Obviously, they came up in the 23-24 season, but then went straight back down again, like they did this season. So I think they should stay in the Championship next season and obviously try and get promoted, but if they do, I'm not sure they'll be able to stay up. Now, I think the reason I also want Spurs to go down is for the Championship clubs. It's a chance for them to play teams that they wouldn't usually get to play, and it'll be great for the club, and they can get extra money from it, and it'll be way more interesting in the Championship. The one problem with Spurs going down, I think, is if they manage to keep a few of their players, then they will probably manage to get back up again with ease, as they are that big of a club. If players get offered to go and play for Spurs, even if they are in the Championship, if smaller players get a chance to go and join Tottenham, they will 100% take it, as it could be a massive breakthrough for them, as they can say, yeah, I've played for Tottenham. Now, whilst this may be in the Championship, it still could be their massive breakthrough. And I think it will be a good chance for smaller players to join Tottenham, show different clubs what they can do, and then maybe sign for bigger clubs, like clubs in the Prem, for instance, mid-table ones like Crystal Palace, Forest or Everton. So then obviously they won't go from a Championship club straight to Man City or Arsenal. That will take a while, but they may be able to get into bigger clubs in the Premier League and show the Prem what they can do, and then get into the big club. So I think for smaller players, not smaller players, but like players people haven't heard of much, it's a good chance for them. And other teams and clubs, it's a big chance for them to show people who are watching the Spurs games, show them how good they are. I mean, obviously I think most clubs will get beat by Spurs, but those who can get results against them, it could be good. Now, I'm now going to talk about West Ham and what would happen if they went down. Now, just a quick Spurs talk. This probably won't be added into the West Ham bit, but Spurs have Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, Everton. So Spurs have 4 games left, which means they actually have a game in hand of West Ham and are 2 points behind. So if they manage to win one of those games, then they will go above West Ham. However, they do have to play Aston Villa, Leeds, Chelsea and Everton, and they aren't easy games. Obviously Villa, they're challenging for Europe, which will be a hard match. They will want to win that one. Yeah, Villa will want to win that one, and they will be trying to get into Europe and secure their place in Europe. When they're playing Spurs, they will think, yeah, it's an easy game. So they will want to make the most out of that game, which means they will probably lose that game, as Villa have something to play for. Leeds, I'm not as sure again. This is recorded after I did the West Ham next games, so I'm gonna maybe talk about West Ham's games in this as well. Again, Leeds, West Ham, I said. Now Leeds, I said this about West Ham, I recorded the West Ham games before I did the Tottenham. So Leeds, again, I think they could possibly beat, but also Leeds, I'm probably going to be wanting to win that game, as it is a club that's below them, and well, they want to make sure they are nowhere near, as far away from that relegation zone as possible. Leeds also, they came up from the Championship last season, so they want to show that they can beat these clubs that are massive. Well, Spurs not massive right now, but there are big clubs in terms of stadium and money, so they will probably want to try hard for that game, and I reckon Leeds will beat them. There's a possibility where Spurs can beat Leeds and then go above West Ham, but I'm just not sure. Now Chelsea are in horrible form right now. They've lost their manager after, I think it was about 6 weeks. I don't know. I think I'm probably getting that wrong. It was 6 months maybe, I don't know. However, they are in bad form, so maybe Tottenham could get something out of that match, but I'm not sure, because then again it is Chelsea with players like Cole Palmer, João Pedro and Cucurella. Now I don't think Spurs will get anything out of that, but if they can, it will be a really important game, an important win or tie, whatever happens. So I think if they can get something out of that game, then that will leave them on good spirits. Yeah, that they'll have high spirits and momentum when they go into the last game of the season against Everton. Now, I think Everton is a harder game than Chelsea because of the form and the momentum, and Everton can still definitely get into Europe if they just win like 1 or 2 games and the clubs above them tie. Now, I think Everton will want to win that game for the last game of the season, so I reckon they will be trying and pushing for a win that game. So I think that will be a hard one for Spurs. I don't see, now that I'm looking at the games, because Spurs have a game in hand, I think it's possible West Ham go down. But at the same time, Villa and Chelsea are 2 hard games. Even if Chelsea are on bad form, they're still the team that have Cole Palmer and, like I said, Cole Palmer, João Pedro. So they still are a brilliant team, it's just they aren't in form right now. Now, I think for West Ham, it will kind of be the same story because they have a great stadium, it's a big stadium, and it will be great atmosphere for any of the Championship clubs if they haven't yet played in a big stadium through the Cup. Now, the tickets will be cheaper for the fans, yet not as many will be coming like Spurs because they are in the Championship. And it will be it will be more difficult for West Ham to get up back into the Prem rather than Spurs, as West Ham don't have that history of being a big club and don't have players wanting to come and play for them and see what they're worth. Well, yeah. So it will be a bit more difficult to get back up. I still think they will do it if they do go down. However, it will be more of a title race. It will be a harder race to get to promotion for West Ham, as they aren't as big as a club. Now, to be fair, I'm making it out like they wouldn't get players in who want to play for them, as they're not a big enough club. They definitely will get some players wanting to play for them, and it's the same story with Spurs, and then maybe play for the Prem or stay with them if they do go up. But I just don't think it will be as many people wanting to go and play for them, as again, a much smaller team. They're not a small team, but they're like smaller than Spurs. So I think it would definitely be more of a heavy hitter for relegation if West Ham go down than it would be for Spurs. But it still wouldn't be that bad. I reckon they would still be able to go up. Now, again, same thing. They have decent players who are Prem worthy and should play in the Prem. Some of them might stay, but most of them will probably leave the club, as the wages would have to be lowered, as they lost money from when they got relegated. So a few of their players will go and leave, and the smaller players who we haven't heard much of will have to step in and do a job in that position. For example, Jared Bowen, he will probably leave West Ham if they go down. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a club that's bigger than West Ham, as he is doing well and performing in the Prem at this point in the season. He might not leave, but it is a high possibility that if they do get relegated, he will leave. I think, though, West Ham have a better chance of going up, considering their games, as they have easier games than Spurs. I forgot to mention the Spurs games, so I will mention them in a second when I'm talking about the West Ham games. However, the West Ham games are easier than the Tottenham games. I'm not saying they're easy and they're going to win every single game, as their form doesn't show that they will win every game at this moment. So it will be tough, but I reckon they will do it. For example, their next games are... Let me just check. Their next 3 games are Arsenal, Newcastle and Leeds. I don't remember them being that hard. I didn't check before I said they were going to be easier than Spurs. But Arsenal, that's almost 100% chance of a loss. It is Arsenal, to be fair, and they are in a title race that they're probably going to bottle again. However, I think they are going to lose that one. I think they might lose that one by like quite a bit as well, as it is Arsenal, and they have no momentum at this current time. Yes, they did win their last match, but I just don't think that's enough for them to get their spirits up and start playing well. But I don't know. Newcastle, see, it's a bit different with Newcastle, as Newcastle haven't been performing yet. They can't get relegated, but they can't get into Europe, I don't think. And Newcastle haven't been on great form, so maybe they could get a tie out of that. I'm not sure. But just 1 point, 1 or 2 points will probably secure their place in the Prem, as I don't think Spurs have enough in them to get a win or a tie out of these next games. If West Ham manage to beat Leeds or tie with them, Leeds is probably their easiest game, to be fair, as Leeds were in the Championship last season. However, if they manage to get a point or something like that out of that game, then it will be much better, and I reckon they will definitely stay up. Now, as the table stands, like I said, West Ham 17th with 36 points, Spurs 18th with 34. My prediction for the end of the season, Spurs will go down. I think just because they're on bad form and they can't seem to get a win other than last match, but that was against, well, obviously Wolves. But I don't think there was a standout team that game. I don't think Tottenham were amazing and destroying Wolves. I don't think they were obviously the team that should win. I think it was a bit more, they probably should have tied that game. Now, obviously, they haven't gone on as bad form as Chelsea, where they've lost their last 5 games. They won their last game, and then it was a tie against Brighton, lost against Sunderland, lost against Forest, and Forest they kind of had to beat, as they were they're a team that was in the relegation battle. I think Forest are safe now. And then again, West Ham, their form isn't very good either. the previous games. To be fair, it is better than Tottenham, I think. As they lost their last game, they won against Everton. They drew with Crystal Palace. They beat Wolves 4-0, but they lost to Aston Villa. So I'm not entirely sure, but I think Tottenham are going to go down. So if Tottenham do go down in the end, I wouldn't mind it. I just think the Prem, I'm not sure. Yeah, I kind of want to say there will be something missing from the Prem, as obviously Tottenham have gone down. But then again, if the form that they're in, like I said, and the performance they're putting in, as a Big Six club, I think they should go down. So there you go. There you have it. I think Spurs will go down this season. West Ham will stay up. But I think it will be very close. I reckon it will go down to the last game week. And it will be maybe like 1 point between them in the end. So that is my prediction for the rest of the season. Thanks for watching. This video was a bit of a different video, and I think I might be making a few more of these football news kind of videos where we just talk about what's going on, what I think will happen, and all that kind of stuff. I will hopefully be putting out a video about Leicester and how much a team can change in 10 years. By just, as you may see, they have been relegated again to League One already. But obviously, my upload schedule isn't great, so don't be thinking it's going to be coming out next week. Hopefully it will be, but I can't promise anything. Thank you and goodbye.